Okay, so hello and welcome to yet another Gaming Masters podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft's E3 2016 press conference. It was an interesting one, I have to say.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing it in order. First thing that they revealed, Xbox One Slim. 40% smaller than the current Xbox One. Can stand up vertically with a stand. Outputs 4K Ultra HD video. UDHR, so it kind of like adds more color and depth into the images. A few different changes with some of the like design. It only comes in a kind of like glassy white kind of like design. You can't get it in a matte black or anything like that at this moment in time, at least. It looks interesting, but then I'm going to throw into the mix, because they're both very similar topics, Project Scorpio.
Yep. Well, I'll just say a couple of lines then, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah.
Xbox One S, if they can fit all of the features of an Xbox One and down into 40% of the size, what the fudge can they do with the other 60%? Insert Project Scorpio.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow. They've got so much room to play with to stick in extra features if they can get it that small. That's just I know I'm going to offend a lot of PlayStation people, so that's just pissing on a PlayStation, because it's like that we can get it that small. Screw you.
Funnily enough, I was browsing through some of the people that work at Microsoft's Twitter accounts, mainly Mike Kubar, who's Xbox development manager, I think, something like that. He said, "Thank God for the mute button, been getting a lot of hate from PlayStation gamers recently." And I was like, oh, I didn't think, because of course Sony said, we're not going to be unveiling Project Neo at E3 2016. We're waiting for the best time to announce it. Microsoft announced it before. You have a look at the way that I think it was the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 happened. Xbox 360 took off, I think, primarily because it was announced before the PlayStation 3 and released before the PlayStation 3.
Well, I would say that is an interesting trend, but you could say that the Xbox One was released before the PlayStation 4, but the PlayStation 4 took off a little earlier. But I think that was mainly down to features and the way they did things. And I still cannot get over how funny and low budget they decided to do their game sharing, which I swear they were watching the Xbox conference and said, "Hey, can we get the CEO of Sony in here, and let's do it behind the curtain," kind of thing. It was fantastic.
That's the problem with press conferences. You've got to be either the first to announce something insanely good, or you've got to be after somebody when they've fucked something up royally. And this time, Microsoft were the first to announce something insanely good, and they didn't fuck it up, so PlayStation couldn't take the piss out of them. And now Microsoft have been getting hate from PlayStation fanboys, and I'm just like, it's going to be interesting, though, because Xbox One Slim is out this August. You then have a look at Project Scorpio. If Sony unveil Project Neo at Gamescom, for example, or at their own PlayStation event, which they hold within the next few months, and they say Project Neo will be out this fall, the difference is the specifications may be different. Apparently, according to game developers and stuff like that, the Xbox One's Project Scorpio specifications are higher than the PlayStation 4 Neo, and seem to be insanely good and a lot more powerful. And the reason why Microsoft...
6 teraflops, though.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of 980 Ti if you play on PS4. I mean PC, sorry.
Whoa, you just offended so many people. I'm just gonna back up. Right out
It's
here.
the equivalent of a 980 Ti, I believe, and then it's got an insane.
I'll read off the
problem.
specs.
Part of the problem with. Okay, Microsoft have unveiled this a year ahead of time, so apparently, so developers can see what they're aiming towards getting the specifications for, so that they can develop the games at their optimal quality. It also will play all games released on all versions of Xbox One. So it will play the original Xbox One games, it will play the Xbox One Slim games, not that there's going to be much difference,
I don't think there'll be a difference at all.
And then it will also play the Scorpio games.
Yeah.
Releasing next year. The problem with consoles is when they design the specifications, that's the year that platform is going to be held behind in for the remaining of the generation. So, for example, the 980 Ti was, I believe, launched last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, the specifications releasing in 2017 will be those of the specifications that people can get in a PC. So, the way that PC gamers look at it, at least, is you are going to be quite a few years behind the PC market. We're only just going to start getting 4K on console by the time that 4K consoles have really come onto the market really well. It's probably going to be when 8K or something ridiculous like that comes out, because people tend to buy into consoles because of not the stability, but they know that they're going to be safe with that console for 8-10 years to come, and they won't need to buy another one.
Yeah.
Having a hardware upgrade as major as Project Scorpio mid-cycle is in some ways good, because it means we're going to get 4K games, we're going to get better quality games, hopefully, and it means that we have more features, and we're in some ways relating to the PC market. However, it means that the people that bought the consoles at the beginning of the generation, or have been saving up for 3 years to get the next generation of consoles, thinking, right, this will last me for X number of years, I won't need to buy another console, they're going to be hacked off that a year after they buy their console, or 3 years after they buy their console, they're going to have to do an early upgrade to get Project Scorpio to possibly play the next games in their beloved franchise. Because, as far as I'm aware, there's no confirmation that there won't be any exclusives for Scorpio. I can't work it out. My questions are, how are the developers going to be able to cope with the difference in specifications and still release a high quality product for both versions of the Xbox One and PC and PS4 and whatever the next PS4 is, Project Neo?
Yeah.
How expensive is it going to be? What are the actual specifications? Is there any guarantee that there will be no titles released only for Scorpio? And does this mean that we're going to continuously have new generations of consoles coming out every 3 years? Or is this just a one-off upgrade because they've managed to get the 4K technology in a small box?
Well, for me personally, I do hear all of those concerns and those worries, and I do, but I don't think it's actually that bad, because dropping a small bombshell, didn't Microsoft or somebody around Microsoft say that at some point they were going to make a console that had interchangeable parts, so that you wouldn't have to upgrade to a massive console? You just upgrade the next bit. Could this be an early version?
the confusion amongst the media with that is the way that it was interpreted.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer, and some of the other Microsoft employees that don't necessarily have a PR mind, or a mind that the media works with as such, have said things the way that they can interpret it, the way that they think the community will be able to understand it, but then the media have interpreted it completely differently.
Right.
And I think this was the case with Xbox One Project Scorpio, because some of the confusion was... in fact, no, it's Xbox One Slim. There's some confusion, I think, between... Okay, so you can play video at 4K, and what they didn't actually mention, what they actually didn't mention during the press conference, and I'm not sure if this is 100% confirmed or if it is just some rumor or something going around, but apparently it also upscales games to 4K. It plays video at native 4K, but it upscales to 4K.
Right,
and this was actually the main thing that they mentioned. They said, if you buy a... This was in an interview with Eurogamer, by the way. Phil Spencer said, we're really looking forward to the future of Xbox. And then the Eurogamer journalist basically said, okay, so what are the benefits of getting Project Scorpio? And then Phil Spencer said, what TV screen do you play on? Do you play on 1080p? Do you play on 4K? What? He said 1080p.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer responded with, well, it's not worth you upgrading to the Project Scorpio because you won't have any benefits.
Yeah.
Huge PR mistake.
Yeah.
The difference with you won't have any benefits and you won't have any substantial benefits is quite a big difference.
Yeah.
With Xbox Project Scorpio, you will receive benefits with the upgraded hardware, of course. It's like upgrading a PC. You're going to have a few changes in terms of the hardware. There's a high chance, if you're upgrading, that you will notice a difference of some sort.
Yeah. But it won't be massively
Phil
visual.
Spencer said that it's not worth you upgrading to Project Scorpio until you've got a 4K TV is because you won't have a huge upgrade in terms of quality. You will have an upgrade possibly in the frame rate, and the dynamical games which use the dynamic frame rate and resolution and stuff like that, stuff like Halo 5 which adjusts, you can possibly have your game running at a better frame rate, so possibly 60 FPS all the way through and 1080p all the way through. But the thing that wasn't particularly clear, and a lot of the community that necessarily haven't touched PC gaming, was, there's no point in me getting Project Scorpio because I can't run it on my 1080p HD screen. There's no benefit in me getting it because I'm running it at 1080p. You will have the benefit, but it is not substantial enough for Phil to, in his opinion, warrant a purchase of the new console. Now, this can mean two things. Either Project Scorpio is going to cost a shit ton of money, or he's just being mindful of the consumer and thinking, it's not worth it it's not worth upgrading to Project Scorpio if you're an everyday gamer that doesn't really have a huge amount of money. If you have the money to buy it, fine, upgrade. But you won't have a huge benefit unless you have a 4K TV.
Yeah.
That's a huge PR mistake, I think.
Yeah, so possibly, with that kind of conclusion, Xbox Scorpio could be the hardcore gamers console.
Exactly.
And we could have just, as the Xbox One was kind of commercially released as the gaming hub, whereas the Xbox Scorpio is the gamers console.
Yeah.
So that could be that would be an interesting thing. I'd be interested to see what kind of direction they want to go, but we'll just have to kind of wait until they give some more announcements for it.
Yeah.
So what's the first game we got on our list?
The next thing is actually still a bit more related towards services and stuff like
Oh,
that.
we got
This
more
one's going to
services?
be
Okay.
really quick. Xbox Play Anywhere is a new scheme which is going to be launching. Basically,
So worth it.
Xbox Play Anywhere means that if you buy a digital, and this only works with digital games, game on PC that Microsoft have released, they're looking into third party in the future. If you purchase it on Windows 10 Store, or Xbox One, your game will become free on the other respective platform, and all of your save progress and transfers and achievements and stuff like that will carry on over. They've tested this with Quantum Break. It worked really well, and it definitely shows that Microsoft are trying to put a bit more of a priority between put a bit more focus onto PC gaming. They failed with Windows Live for Windows Live games, and they've taken a few years break, redeveloped the kind of like principle behind it and stuff like that, and now they've decided, hey, we're going to do cross-platform play between PC, Xbox One, and any other platform that wants to support it. PS4.
Cough, cough.
And yeah, and we also want to mean that this also means that any gamers that get our first-party titles, hopefully third-party in the future, can get it for free on the other platform, has cross-saves, and play with everybody and stuff like that. It's really cool. Titles that have been announced to include it so far are Forza Horizon 3, Gears of War 4, Halo Wars 2, Recall, Scalebound, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, and We Happy Few. Also regarding PC, they're looking into releasing more games on Steam, and I believe the first one is Dead Rising 4 is a Windows 10 Store exclusive for the first 90 days.
Right.
After the first 90 days, it could possibly go over onto Steam. And I think it's similar possibly to State of Decay 2. But it's definitely an interesting concept.
As a massive fan of gaming as a whole, but as a massive bit of a diehard Xbox fanboy, may I say, I just have to say, what reason would you have to not want to own an Xbox when you're getting that kind of service?
Exactly.
You're getting two games. Or if you also play PC and you have mates that play PC and you have a couple of different mates who play on Xbox, you can all play one game across all of your friends' platforms.
And you don't have to fork out £110 because it's £55 each, and you want to buy it for PC. Oh, and you also want to buy it for Xbox One, but then you decide you want to get the collector's edition or the season pass, add an extra £80 onto that because the season pass tends to cost £40 each. Yeah.
See,
PC
and then you're all getting it for one cost.
So
good.
PC.
So it's just such a needed thing because I know a lot of people who they prefer playing on they have an Xbox, but they prefer playing on a PC. And if you get one game that covers both, so you can play with your friends who prefer other platforms, who would say, no, I don't want to have two games for the price of one?
Exactly.
It's amazing. This is truly an age when that kind of concept is coming in, and I really do feel sorry for Sony.
Why it didn't come in sooner.
I'm actually sorry for Sony because it just seems like they kind of dropped the ball on this one. Xbox / Microsoft.
But it's the same with Back
looking
last year. Though.
Yeah,
there were no rumors at all regarding it, and then bang, here we go. Here's a new service. Here's something cool. There's also another service I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but the whole principle of Xbox Play Anywhere is awesome, and there are a few PC gamers which have complained because they don't want to be using the Windows 10 store. So what? You don't necessarily have to get it through the Windows 10 store, because they will be trying to get it on Steam as well. It just means that you won't necessarily have the integration with Xbox Live on Xbox One, which in some cases doesn't really matter because you don't own an Xbox One, so you don't really care.
There's no point. Yeah. But you're still paying the same price as somebody who is playing on an Xbox One and doesn't care about PC. Yeah. Or if you're someone who cares about both, we're paying the same price as well. So everyone wins. Nobody's a loser here. There's no losers. There's absolutely no losers.
I'm gonna just quickly talk, and this is gonna be really quick. About this is really quick. A few new topics for Xbox Live. We've got Look for Group coming to be built straight into the Xbox One with the anniversary update releasing this summer. Basically, instead of you having to do your kind of like third-party app on Destiny or something like that, some Look for Group website, it's all going to be built into Xbox Live. You can put, if you want a mic, if you want somebody over a certain gear score, for example, in Destiny or The Division. You can also select how many players you want, what mission, what difficulty, etc. All built into Xbox Live. Can't wait to try that out. The next two little service updates for Xbox Live coming this anniversary update is we're going to be getting Arenas, which is a competitive integration for Xbox Live.
I can't wait for that.
There are going to be different levels, I believe. This partially relates to EA, which we didn't mention in our previous video, but basically there are going to be different levels. So there will be like your casual gamers that just want a bit of competitive fun. There are going to be the levels for people that want to try and get into competitive professional, and then there are also going to be, I think, levels for the pro gamers that actually do it for a living. Now, they are doing a similar thing with EA titles as well, with their EA Sports titles and stuff like that. They've said that they're going to integrate EA titles into this Xbox Live program, and vice versa as well. It looks really cool. I want to try out the competitive stuff with it as well.
Yep.
I also want to try out the Look for Groups, so I can do the Destiny raids that I've not necessarily done yet because I've not had a number of players for them. I also want to do it so I can do the new incursions on the Division, etc. Need more players. Aha, here I go. I can go onto Look for Group on Xbox Live and find people that are actually looking for gamers right now, not people that were looking for gamers 2 hours ago, which is a common occurrence with the stuff on third-party websites.
Now, I want games. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm putting my foot down, and I'm saying games. I want games right now.
Just give one little upgrade?
You have one line. You have one line, sir. Use it well. Use it powerfully.
Community hubs. You can now create groups for all of your gamers that you want to have in your community group. So if you want a group where all of your friends can have like a central hub, community kind of thing, that's also coming to Xbox Live. It was on PlayStation a few years ago with the PlayStation 4 launch. Dreadful implementation. I've tried it. It's dreadful. This looks really cool because you can do it for specific games, you can do it for specific communities, you can do it for specific friendship groups, anything. You can do it private, open, whatever. Really cool. Looking forward to that. First game that we're going to be covering, I'm sorry about
games.
That. Service upgrade and console stuff. Forza Horizon 3.
Oh, sigh.
The best racing franchise, in my opinion, that is like a major franchise, because stuff like Flat Out and stuff like that I really enjoy, because you had the destruction, you had the kind of like demolition derbies and stuff like that. That's part of the reason behind me liking Burnout. None of those franchises are in known active development. I think there might be a Flat Out coming soon, but there's been no information for it for months. But Forza Horizon 3 looks really good. It's based in Australia. It's an open world racing game. You have dune buggies for the first time. You have the new Lamborghini as the cover car. DirectX 12. You have all of these showcases where you're similar to the Forza Horizon titles in the past. It's coming to PC, the first Forza game coming to PC, if you exclude the cut-down version of Forza 6 Apex, which was a free-to-play thing. You also have a 4-player co-op campaign, and it just looks so cool. I can't wait for it. September the 27th is going to be a busy day.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be busy on September 27th. So many servers, PC, so many full servers.
Xbox One and Windows 10 PC as a Play Anywhere title. So nice. I can just imagine right now playing Forza Horizon 3 on 4K on my PC, and then I decide, I want to play it with a controller. I don't want to plug in my controller to my PC, then just quickly swapping over to the Xbox One version. But if I was playing on the PC version, I could play with you if you were on the Xbox One version, because it also features crossplay.
Oh, I was about to sit here. I was sitting here going, Forever Alone. He doesn't want to play with me on Xbox.
Oh, I do.
But then you mentioned crossplay, and everyone wins.
Mm-hmm.
Right, next.
The next title to cover is ReCore. ReCore. I was so disappointed with E3 2016 briefing.
Really?
Regarding ReCore. No,
really?
Hear me out.
All right, I'll hear you out.
We only had a gameplay demo that was 2 minutes and 17 seconds long. There was nothing else regarding ReCore covered in the whole show. One of their major titles that's coming out, and it's a 2-minute video.
Well, it wasn't that developed back then. I would say, I would say it wasn't that developed, as in they didn't have a lot to show. It was more like here's a teaser, rather than anything else.
That was this year's E3. They unveiled ReCore last year.
Yeah.
They could have shown some more information. I can't even remember if they gave a release date, because it was like Gears of War 4 moving straight onto ReCore, moving on to Forza Horizon.
Well, ReCore, from what I saw, they got a lot of information. Also, was it just me, or did they add more colours? Because I thought all the enemies were in red and all the good ones are in blue, and now they're all in different colours. There's more colours. I'm a bit worried.
The thing that confused me with the ReCore title, I was doing a live blog for this over on the website. Mm-hmm. I had absolutely no clue what game it was for the first 50 seconds or so, because they were doing it as some form of like animation, kind of like
in a world
comic book
where robots
strippy like thing. And then at 50 seconds, you see this robot that looks weirdly like something out of ReCore, and then you twig and you're like, ReCore. And I didn't twig at all for the first 50 seconds for it. And then you get to the end of the trailer and you're like, okay, please give us some more information. Please give us some more information. Okay, it's coming to Xbox. It's coming to Xbox One and Windows 10. Perfect. And next game. Where's the release date? Where's more information? I want to play it now.
I think I see. No, this is good advertisement. They're leaving you wanting more. You're always going to want to come back for it. This is good. Is good advertisement. Yeah. But in terms of actual satisfaction, oh man, they just left you hanging.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of harsh.
Next title we briefly mentioned a few moments ago, Gears of War 4. Now, Gears of War, I've not been a huge fan of. I played the Ultimate Edition last year, and yeah, I enjoyed it. There was a bit of different information. We've got Horde coming back. The graphics have been improved a lot since the beta that we had, which actually I was somewhat disappointed. It looked like the original games over on 360. As I play them on back compat and stuff like that, it looked exactly the same, and I was like, hang on, is this Gears of War 4? But the trailer looks so good, what's happened? and they've now shown actual gameplay with the new updated build. They've added a lot more detail, a lot more depth, and stuff like that. We've also got a Gears of War 4 limited edition controller, and we've also got General RAM coming to Killer Instinct as well. Gears of War 4 looks interesting. It's a third-person shooter, and yeah, I go for it because it looks like Microsoft's version of Doom in the aspect of you have the gore, you have the shooting, you have the customization of the guns, and you're running around. I know it's not a hugely big comparison, but the reason why I said that is because of the gore with the chainsaws cutting people in half and stuff like that. You have the customization, it's in third person. But I'm not a huge fan of Gears. Not at all.
Really? From all the hype you give about Gears, I thought you were a big fan of it, but personally, I could do without it.
I like the concept.
But that's just a personal preference.
I like the concept of it. I liked Ultimate Edition's campaign. I like the campaign, I think, but the multiplayer, Gears of War 4, people go for, apparently, for the multiplayer because it has that kind of, like, competitive feel, and they do it in competitive gaming, but it's the campaign that actually interests me in Gears of War. But I'm still not a huge fan of Gears of War. I prefer other titles. It looks interesting, though. I will leave a link down below in the description for Gears of War 4. Next title, Dead Rising 4. This was leaked quite a while ago.
Excuse me, I don't think any of these games weren't leaked. There were leaks all over the place. It was worse than a sinking ship.
I was thinking, let me just have a scroll through all of these, and I was like, you know what? He's actually right. None of this was leaked. I mean, all of this was leaked apart from the Xbox upgrades, which were... The Slim was rumoured, the 4K was rumoured, but the Xbox Live upgrades weren't leaked. Forza Horizon 3 were... Dead Rising 4 and Forza Horizon 3 were the lesser leaks of the titles.
But still, leaks also, all over the place.
Dead Island... No, State of Decay 2.
Yes.
But yeah, Dead Rising 4 is returning to the original game setting, with the original characters, and it's
original character,
sorry, I stand corrected. And it's based around Christmas time. You can take selfies with,
which you could do in the second one. In Dead Rising 2, I want to say Frank West edition, but I'm a bunch of Capcom guys might come beat me up. But one of the games, you get to play as Frank West, a photographer / journalist who survives the zombie outbreak, and you get to again play as Frank West in Dead Rising 4, which I think is interesting to come back to a character who's already survived, which would be nice. They did do that with I forget the name of the main protagonist for the other ones. But
can't remember either.
I can't remember. But
the only title I've played in the franchise is Dead Rising 3, which was the last entrance to the franchise in 2013.
Yeah.
And I was like, meh, not fussed.
The only thing about Dead Rising that I find so much fun is is just putting random shit together and coming up with the craziest things, like 2 chainsaws on the end of a paddle, and then you pretend that you're kayaking through a wave of horde of zombies. So much fun, so much gore. But
I like the wacky kind of like weapons as such.
Yeah,
and
they were always good
stuff. But I don't know. I just didn't really get attached to the storyline.
Personally, I found this with a lot of Dead Rising games that I've played 1, 2, the Frank West side of 2, which I believe is a separate game. I played the mini side series, which they did 3 of, I believe, and or 2, I can't remember, and Dead Rising 3. I Throughout all of them, they've always been so restrictive on on certain storyline missions. They've tried to restrict it by time constraints. So you have to get from one area to the next to play the campaign, and then once you play the campaign, that's okay. But if you miss one part of that or one aspect of that main campaign, then it pretty much turns into a kind of endless mode until whatever end game setting happens. So the military comes and blows everything up. They carpet bomb the particular area, or you get eaten by zombies or something. So it didn't really, as a single player game, it doesn't really grab you and keep you
No.
into the game, because it doesn't really allow you to go around and explore and do whatever you want. Which I kind of understand when somebody needs Zombrex at a certain time, you need to give it to them. But with the restrictive on Zombrex and making it so hard to get to, sometimes you're just running around going, I've still got another like 4 hours until I need to worry about this person, but I still can't find any Zombrex. And you come up to 20 minutes, and it's like, I still can't find any
Yeah.
Zombrex. So
Um,
it was that really stopped me from enjoying the game to its fullest. So, and it
this.
made me want to go and have a look to find guides to see where I could find the easiest Zombrex. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, Dead Rising is an interesting franchise. I think I'm still going to stick with Dying Light for my zombie apocalypse franchise to go to. I definitely really prefer Dying Light because it admits of parkour and zombies and wacky weapons and contraptions and stuff like that. I might try out a bit more Dead Island. I've not really had enough say in that, but I did like the looks of Dead Island 2. Um, Dead Rising 4 will be out on Windows 10 Store and Xbox One December the 6th, with a 90-day exclusivity to Windows 10 Store for PC and a
nice,
year's exclusivity for console on
interesting.
Xbox One. So
Does that
we
mean
might
it's
get it on
coming to
Steam.
PS4?
We might get it on Steam in, what would that be? That would be March, February ish time. And then we'll get it in December of 2017 on PS4, highly likely. I'm not sure if they'll do it on the Nintendo NX. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Um, yeah, Dead Rising 4. Moving on to the next title, we've got Scalebound. Scalebound,
Ooh,
so many people have been interested for. And it's an Xbox
including
One
me.
and Windows 10 exclusive coming in 2017. I think that means it's been delayed again. I can't remember. Um, it's the first multiplayer gameplay that we had revealed at this year's E3. If I must be purely honest, I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people by saying this.
Go on.
Scalebound, I'm not particularly interested in. I will give
Right.
it a try. Don't get me wrong, it looks like an interesting franchise. However, I'm not particularly fussed about all the dragons and mythical combat and stuff like that. And
Mm.
I don't know, I just don't find it particularly interesting. It looks interesting, but I'm not go. It's not like The Division where I want to pre-order it the second it's announced. It's a kind of title I will pick up if it's going cheap. I'll get it on disc instead than digital, and I'll give it a try. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll sell it.
Yeah. Well, to me, they've kind of they've been very vague about Scalebound. We know you play as a person with a dragon as a companion, and you can fight as the duo. And we now know you can do co-op. We now know there are bosses, but other than that, we don't know if it's an open world game. We don't know if it's kind of like Destiny, where there'll be a hub where you can go and meet your friends and random people in the world, and like all your dragons hang out somewhere. Or if you can customize your dragon or your person, or you just get a bunch of presets. But it did look like there could be a bit of customization. But yeah, there's I the concept and the look of it, I go, ooh, that looks awesome. But in terms of an actual game, I'm not going to pre-order it or like look into pre-ordering it until I get a bit more content. I kind of want to know a bit more about it before I kind of invest fully. Whereas something like The Division, when it did, as to going along with your one, it kind of gave us a lot of what it was about, what it's going to do, and gave us a lot of stuff. And you went, "Ooh, I definitely want this because it's telling me everything I need to hear." But Scalebound's being very vague with everything, so we're just going to have to wait on that one.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some more information regarding that at Gamescom. I can't remember if it's going to be a release early 2017 or late 2017. If it's late 2017, we'll probably have a huge amount of information revealed at next year's E3. If not, I wonder when they're gonna release more information.
Actually, tell us about it.
Yeah, actually give some more detail. We've only seen a little bit of multiplayer, and that was only unveiled at this year's E3, and then last year we saw one boss fight. And the one thing that people remember about Scalebound, two things, dragons and a guy with headphones around his neck. That's it, pretty much.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to the next title, State of Decay 2. This is the zombie apocalypse multiplayer kind of like franchise, I assume. Which seems to be interesting because it's going to be an Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive coming out next year. I'm not sure if it's timed, but that is the current information we have. I didn't really play much of State of Decay, but I can tell that you're looking forward to State of Decay too.
Well, I'm just trying to keep quiet. I'm just like, must speak.
What do you want to say about State of Decay 2 then?
Okay, State of Decay, when it first came out, it was a bit underplayed. Everyone thought, "Oh, this could be a cool new zombie game," but it appeared at it was kind of like one of those games that appeared when when Xbox decided on 360 to release a program where you could create your own game and sell it, and you could get profits from it, and then there became about 1,000,000,001 Minecraft
Project
clones.
Spark, which has now died.
No, not Project Spark. No.
Project Spark had a similar
type of thing,
though, and now Project Spark's been shut down.
Oh, sad times. But no, this was an actual coding. I can't remember the name of it, but basically you could. There were some really good games, but a lot of the games were Avatar games or Minecraft clones. But State of Decay was a rare gem of a fantastic zombie game. You had a good story that you could follow along with. You could do it. You could stretch it out as long as you wanted to. You had base management. You could add any features that you wanted to. You had resource gathering. You had guns and melee weapons, but guns would draw more zombies, so you want to use melee weapons. You had cars where you could run over zombies, an achievement for running over every type of zombie, which was incredibly hard to do against the fat ones. They took so many hits. And you could you even had the ability to take resources and guns and weapons and ammunition and put it in your cars and then drive it back to your bases, so you weren't lugging around about 7 items whilst a horde of zombies or 7 boxes while a horde of zombies were chasing after you. So State of Decay 2, because State of Decay was a single player game, there was no multiplayer aspect, absolutely nothing, and you kind of wanted to get your friend to do it, to join you, because you thought, hey, that would be kind of cool. That's what it looks like it's going to do with State of Decay 2. It looks like they're going to have a multiplayer aspect, or at minimum a co-op aspect, which definitely was either shoved in our face or extremely hinted to. But it looks like they're going to add some new graphics, possibly some new zombie types, possibly make the areas a lot bigger because the area that you played in was a small, I think it was two or three small towns and a big town. Um, and I am definitely so excited for it.
Yeah,
And I can't wait to be able to play State of Decay 2. And if it is co-op, I can't wait to play
it is
with you,
multiplayer. Yeah.
and I can't wait to play with other people because there were a lot of things that if you brought the AI would be quite clever in doing, but you also would get that problem where the AI would do something stupid, and then you
Yeah.
and the AI would be completely screwed by the zombies that take over. But there was everything from sneaking to mechanics to shooting a rifle to RPG mechanics where you could increase certain skill stats. But I think the main kind of point, the main kind of draw of State of Decay was your character could be killed, and then you would take control of a random or your selection of character um, that you had saved in the game. So if you had gone around and you were on your own at one point, and then you found two people that were in need of help, they were holed up in a house surrounded by zombies. If you didn't help them, then if your character died, that would be the end of your game because you need more people to create a community, to create houses, which then you could migrate to other places to accommodate for more people that you get, and then continue playing even if your character does die, and you can go back and pick up their equipment. So it's for me, it's stupidly obvious, but I loved it. It was such a great game, and I can't wait to be able to share some zombie experiences and possibly record a playthrough with
Yeah,
you and
sure.
possibly some other people because it was so good. It was one of my favorites in the old gen. Um,
Okay. So we've got two last little things to wrap up on here.
right.
First up, really quick one. There's quite a lot of coverage of ID Xbox. It was about a 6-minute demo of all of the latest ID Xbox releases. So that's definitely going to be interesting with those releases. In fact, we've got three things. So yeah, the ID Xbox demo, loads of little titles that look really cool, if I must be honest. Haven't got a huge amount of time to cover those as of yet, but I will leave the link down below in the description for a video related to that. We also got some gameplay for Rare's next title, Sea of Thieves, which is a
So
Xbox
good.
One and Windows 10 exclusive. It
Can't
seems to
wait.
be a co-op pirate adventure made by Rare, the studio that is in many people's hearts for games like Banjo-Kazooie. Is that one of
Yep.
Rare's titles? Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie.
And quite a lot of other titles like Battletoads and things. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's coming out next year.
Oh, why is it so far
Think
away?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have a date in front of me. I thought I did, but I don't, sadly. But yeah,
Right.
Sea of Thieves has an interesting concept. Pirates slightly reminds me of Black Flag, but with um, a better co-op. Well, in fact, Black Flag didn't have any co-op, did it?
Nope.
But it has an interesting art style as well. It seems to be a simplistic art style.
Very cartoonish.
Yes, very much so. Last thing that we're going to be covering in this video, sorry for it being a while. This is something that is very close to mine and Dan's hearts.
Oh yes.
Halo Wars 2. Now, Halo itself is something that's close to my heart. The RTS branch off Halo Wars, I'm not too sure. I didn't particularly enjoy it. I want to try and get onto
Really?
the beta before it shuts down, which
Oh, you
is
still
shutting
haven't?
down tomorrow. I hope that I have enough
Get on
time to
quick.
pop onto it
So
tonight,
good.
because I really do want to try out Halo Wars 2.
So good.
It looks really interesting. I really liked the trailer that they had. They had quite a bit of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beta's ending today, so sadly, you guys watching this, if you didn't manage to pick it up, won't be able to play the beta at this moment in time. However, there will be another beta coming at the end of the year for PC and Xbox One when this, in fact, sorry, possibly the end of this year because it was delayed until 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It is an Xbox Play Anywhere title, so it will be on a PC and Xbox One with, I believe, crossplay. And yeah, it looks really cool.
Can't wait.
I'm going to try it out, hopefully, on the beta tonight, and I'll try and do a commentary with that gameplay for you guys. Yeah, just very briefly, what are your thoughts on Halo Wars 2?
Well, I will keep it brief. I will keep it brief. Halo Wars, for such a gem in the Halo franchise. It's something different. It's something unique that not a lot of other first-person shooters can go, well, we have a different aspect to our franchise. So I've got to say, Halo Wars, the first one was great. Halo Wars 2, interesting. I played the beta demo thing, whatever it is that's out right now. I played it a few times. I don't think I played it enough times to qualify for the ranking system, which they added from Halo 4 or 5. I can't remember which one introduced that first.
Halo 4, because Halo Master Chief Collection had the ranking system built in. I think it did. So
the ranking system,
unless it was added in Master Chief. But I don't think it was.
Well, the ranking system is in there, which is a very interesting feature. So that will be somewhat like Rainbow Six Siege, where they'll rank you based on how good you play in certain matches.
And the gold and stuff like that.
So
that
will be very interesting.
That was Halo 5, wasn't it? Because you had ranking systems.
I'm pretty sure.
You had ranking systems. You had different levels and stuff. I'm not sure actually.
That will be. I should know this as a big Halo fan, but they do have the ranking system, which will be an interesting feature to add. They've changed up a lot of things. So commander powers, you progress through a progression tree, which is definitely something different, and you won't be able to get all of them in one go. I don't think I've ever gotten to the last tier. In all of the games I've played, and I've played about 6 or 7, and I've never gotten to the last tier yet. So, but they only give you domination. So it will be interesting to see how the different game types reflect the play style of different people, and what abilities you'll unlock and what abilities you'll be able to use. But overall, if I had to, I would say that Halo Wars 2 is definite improvement, and I would be very surprised if it got really bad ratings, because it looks really good even in this demo stage. I can't wait.
It does, yeah. I'm looking forward to all of these titles and much, much more. And I'm fairly certain that you are as well. We've got a lot of interesting titles coming out over the next year, 2, 3 years in some cases. And also new hardware coming out, as we previously mentioned in this episode of the Gaming Masters podcast. So we're going to be ending this episode now. If you do want to check out any more summaries regarding E3 2016... we've got our EA Play one already up on the channel, and this Microsoft one. We'll be having a Ubisoft and a Bethesda, and hopefully also a Sony one coming up very, very soon on the channel. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, and of course, as always, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and we shall see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.